Hi guys. So today I want to talk to you about cross training, what it actually is and why it is so important to do alongside your aerial. So cross training is anything that we do that is not aerial in addition to aerial, but in an attempt to get stronger, more mobile, build better control for our aerial. So we are cross training with something else that isn't aerial. So this could be training in the gym, it could be going to a Pilates class, it could be doing another sport like climbing, although the movements are very similar. There's a lot of overlap with how you use your body, but it's essentially doing something that is not aerial to try and help you to get better at aerial. And one of the reasons why it's important, and particularly if you are coming into aerial as an adult or without much of a background in any kind of sport, we can't actually get all of the things we need from aerial itself to get stronger at aerial. Now, I know there will be some people that disagree with this, but as somebody with a background in coaching other movement disciplines, coming from a personal training and weightlift background, there is a reason why most sports will use that type of training alongside the sport itself. And it's because if you can build a stronger and more capable body away from the sport with movements that are less physically demanding, that are focused more on like foundational movement patterns, that not just work on building stronger muscles, but work on the joints and connective tissues, building body control, again, away from the sport, off the equipment. You actually build a far more capable body that can cope with the demands of the sport itself. And the sport we're talking about, of course, is aerial. So I think it's actually really, really important to understand that if you want a body that can cope with the demands of aerial, you want to do some training to support that outside of the studio. And that can literally be one session per week. It's not like you need to replace all of your aerial training with strength and conditioning or gym training. Like it's just about the consistency of it over a long enough period of time, doing things that strengthen the whole of your body so that when you then go to train in the air, things feel a little bit easier, or you've got a bit more endurance to make it through to the end of the class, or you've got the strength in the end ranges of motion that you need to access in those crazy positions on a piece of aerial equipment. We want to be training a lot of the preparatory strength off the equipment. If we don't have the strength to pull with something like a basic ring row, for example, how are we supposed to be pulling all of our body weight around on a hoop while it's spinning or while we're upside down? So the goal really is for this training to support and enhance the aerial itself. There absolutely are some people who have progressed very, very far in their aerial by just training aerial. It is not impossible, but it is not the most effective or the most efficient way for a lot of adults. And I think that's the really important thing to understand. You don't have to do it, but if you want to make faster, easier, better progress, this is kind of the most straightforward hack. And you also need to do things that feel good for your body and that you enjoy. So if you're somebody where you absolutely hate the idea of working out in a gym, then find a workout plan that you can do at home. If you are somebody who absolutely hates the idea of lifting weights, then maybe you want to look at something like kettlebells or working with resistance bands so you're not having to go to a gym and train with a barbell. Like, there are lots of different options, different modifications for exercises so that you can train in a way that you actually enjoy, that you feel excited about, and that feels good for your body. So this is the other thing to say. There's no one perfect way to do it. And one of the things as well that I have found with my own training and with my clients when I'm supporting them is that the more time you spend not trying to rush this process, not trying to get as strong as you can, as fast as you can, but actually enjoying the slowness of it and the progression of it, the quicker it actually ends up coming. Like if we can stay focused, put in the repetition, this is the less sexy, not Instagrammable training, then we will actually get the results that we're after. And I think Instagram as well is a great thing to mention, as it really does make it seem like you can just grab those 4 drills from that video, throw them into your training, and then in 2 weeks' time, you'll have your straight arm invert or you'll be able to do a roll up. And like we all do it as coaches, right? We put out content that, you know, gives tips and exercises that people can try. But the reality is, it is so much more volume than you think, so much more repetition to actually build that super strong base. So if you're new to cross training, you haven't got a lot of experience with it, or maybe you've done some but you didn't really feel like it moved things forwards for you, I am launching a 12-month progressive cross training program. And before you freak out and think, oh my gosh, that sounds so long, let me just explain. There is absolutely nothing wrong with following a 6-week program or an 8-week program or even 12 weeks. But what I have found, the more aerialists that I work with and the more I continue to train myself, what creates results that actually last is doing something for a long period of time. So I am talking 6 to 12 months. For example, if I achieve my first rep of a brand new skill, that doesn't mean I've nailed that skill and I'm going to move on to the next thing. I now need to spend another 6 to 12 months drilling that skill so that every time I come to do it, it's there in my body and I know I've got the strength, the control, the mobility for it. And it is the same with cross training. We should be thinking about things from a long-term perspective. If you plan to go and train aerial every week for the next 12 months, why would you not also want to be cross training alongside that for the next 12 months to support that? And one of the problems with shorter programs is, of course, that they end. And then a lot of good programs out there, you can repeat them, but you will still hit a point where it stops being effective because either it's not progressive enough, like you're not getting the progressive overload to actually challenge your body, or you get so bored from the same repetition happening over and over and over and over again. So I wanted to build something that actually moved with you and changed with you over the period of a year and factored in everything that you actually need in order to get stronger, more competent at your aerial. And over a 12-month period, it also means that we can really lay the foundations in the first few months without being in a rush, and then more fun, more exciting movements can come in because we have the capacity to start working on more complex cross training. The other thing about this program is that you also get coaching access to me via email. And this is the first program I have launched that is not one-to-one, where I am providing that. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you and you want to check it out, you can click the link in the description and have a look on the webpage, see what you think. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if this is something that you think could benefit your training and your aerial, I would love to see you inside the program. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.